Everyone keeps saying the same thing. AI is powerful, AI is smart, AI is the future. But very few people stop and ask a much simpler and more interesting question. Is AI really intelligent? Why does it need so much data? Why millions of images? Why billions of words? Why constant retraining again and again? In this video, we are not here to hype AI. We are not here to fear it either. We are going to do what TechAutopsy does best. We are going to open the system, look inside, and understand what's actually happening under the hood. Welcome to TechAutopsy. So, let's focus on the core question. Why does AI need so much data? Because the answer of this question quietly reveals something deeper. It tells you what AI really is, and just as importantly, what AI is not. Most common confusion starts with comparison. We naturally compare AI to humans. Human can see something once and understand it, touch something once and learn from it, make sense of the world with very little exposure. So we expect AI to learn the same way. That expectation feels natural, but it's completely wrong. Here's the uncomfortable truth. AI starts at zero. No instinct, no intuition, no background understanding of the world, no common sense. Nothing is already there. Every bit of capability has to be built up. Let's simplify something important. Data sounds impressive, but it's not actually very boring. At its core, data is just records of the past, things that already happened, captured, stored, and labeled. That's all data is. Humans learn by living in the world. We touch things, we feel consequence, we remember emotions. AI never lies. AI learns only by looking at traces of the past. It does not see reality. It only sees footprints left behind by reality. Think about how a child learns what fire is. They feel heat, they hear warning, they see danger, they remember pain. AI never feels heat. AI only sees thousands of examples labeled fire and not fire. That difference is massive. Why rules are not enough? Early systems tried to avoid data. They used rules. If this happens, do that. If this condition is true, take this action. This works in clean and controlled environment. But the real world is messy, noisy, and unpredictable. So rules collapse very quickly. For example, take face recognition. Face changes with lighting, with age, with expressions, with angles, with camera quality. You can't write rules for all of that. The moment you try, the system breaks. So, what does data actually do? Data does not give AI understanding. It gives exposure. Exposure to many variations of the same thing over and over again. Over time, AI starts noticing something very simple. When inputs look like this, output usually look like that. That's the entire secret. No awareness, no meaning, just statistical regularity. With very little data, AI sees a tiny world. Everything looks surprising. Everything looks unfamiliar. With more data, the world becomes wider. Fewer surprises, fewer blind spots, more stable behavior. Let's take another example of spam. Show an AI 10 spam emails. It barely learns anything. Show it millions, pattern suddenly becomes obvious. Not because AI understands spam, but because repetition reveals structure. But here's a critical boundary. More data does not mean intelligence. A surveillance camera sees everything. It records constantly. That does not make it intelligent. AI also does not question what it learns from. If data is messy, biased, incomplete, or wrong, AI absorbs it silently. This leads to an important realization. AI does not invent bias, it reflects history. If the past was unfair, AI trained on that past will mirror the same unfairness. Let's take another example of bias. Imagine hiring data from the past. If decisions were biased back then, AI trained on those decisions will repeat the same pattern. Not out of malice, not out of intent, simply because that's what it learned from. Let's see difference between data and truth. This is one of the most important ideas in AI. Data shows what happened, not what should happen. That difference matters more than people realize it. This is why human cannot be removed from the loop. Humans decide what data is used, what outcomes matter, what mistakes are unacceptable. AI cannot make those choices. So remember this line clearly. AI finds pattern and human carry responsibility. That line should never be blurred. If you remember only one thing from this video, remember this. Data feeds AI. AI finds pattern and human decide that data. Everything else is just a detail. Understanding this prevents three big mistakes: blind trust in AI machines, fear driven by fiction, overconfidence in automation. Clarity always creates a safer system. So, in the next video, we go one level deeper. How AI actually learn from data, without math, without jargon, just pure intuition. This is TechAutopsy, where we don't worship technology, we dissect it. Foundations before complexity. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video and want such more great content, please like, share and subscribe this video.